In today's episode of Esports Analysis, we're hopping aboard with Scump in the top left and Formal in the bottom right, along with Arcides, Envoy, and Gunless and the Chicago Huntsmen as they battle Abizi, Celium, Major Maniac, Priesta, and Simp, last year's Player of the Year, all from the Atlanta Faze. One other thing that I'd like to point out before we head into this heavyweight battle, you'll notice right in the middle of the screen, I put the hardpoint rotations there along with the red circle. The red circle represents where the current hardpoint is at. Now, as we go ahead and hop into this, the other day when I was watching this scrim, I couldn't decide in my mind which of these point of views I wanted to watch. So Scump kind of goes off in this game. He ends up dropping 38, almost a 40 bomb. But Formal in the bottom right really controls spawns, so that's kind of his big job. While Scump is fighting over time in the middle of the map, normally right in the thick of things inside the hill, Formal is the one doing the all-important work behind the scenes so that those that battle inside the hill can get the spawns that benefit them the most. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's jump into the gameplay here and kind of explain what's going on. Right now, if you're looking in the top left-hand corner of your screen, Scump is battling for the spawns, and he ends up going down. But it's not a big deal because if you look in the bottom right, Formal ends up picking up that kill. And then when Seth spawns back in, as you just saw on the top left, now he's back. He still has this back spawn. As they rotate here to the second hard point, they're in location and they're in the favorable spawn to max out the most points that they could possibly get here. Now, unfortunately, Seth's going to get a pretty cheeky kill underneath that train cart there, and then he's going to end up going down. So he gets a couple kills there, but he dies here, and they pick up a couple on that side of the map. And because of that, they're able to push through, and then this hard point is going to end up switching hands just because of those frags that came through on the left side of the map. One thing that you're going to notice throughout the course of this matchup is that this really is like a heavyweight title fight. So there is no point in time where anybody holds like a 50-point lead or anything like that. It's basically going back and forth the whole time. If we look at the score in the bottom left, right now it's 26-26, so the game is tied up. Now, as we move forward here, Scump is going to go ahead and give that up, and Formal in the bottom right, he's already competing for spawns for this next hardpoint. You can see that there are like 8, 7, 6 seconds left, somewhere around there. But right now, Formal is on these coal mine carts. He is set up, and he's hoping that his teammates, when they pass, will end up spawning there. Now, Formal and Seth are both going to end up going down here, but as Formal spawns back in, you can see that they're on the beneficial side of the map. So if you can get this warehouse spawn, and if you can get into the hill, this is by far the side that you want to be on, just because simply there are so many heglets that you can watch over towards that rail cart side of the map. However, if you were watching the kill feed at all, you can see that it just went entirely red. So the entire Huntsman team ended up going down, and now they're going to have a little bit of a struggle trying to get back into that hard point. Even though they have the favorable side, just getting back into this particular hard point, it's just so hard to do because no matter which side you're coming from, there are beneficial head glitches that are really nasty and really hard to get people off of. The goal here is that, yes, you want to have the favorable spawn, but even if you don't on this third one, there are still some really nasty head glitches that you can get set up on, and you can control time even from being the spawn that's on the opposite side, the side that you don't want to be on. Now, we're a little bit behind in terms of talking about where you want to be for spawns for the fourth one, but I've actually broken down this map and this mode before, and if there's one thing that you remember from that previous video is that hardpoints 1 and 4, the spawn side for this one doesn't really matter all that much. In terms of which side is probably the most favorable, you want to be where Scump is spawning right now, so you want to be on this side of the map. You don't want to be over towards second, because if you're towards second, then you're going to have the poor spawn as you go ahead and you rotate into the fifth hard point. But the fourth hill here is a lot like the first hill in that most of this is scrap time, right? If you can get 20 or 30 points on this one, that's fantastic. But really, the fourth is just maybe sending 1 or 2 people there trying to contest for that time, where the rest of you should be back into that fifth hard point, setting up to get the majority of that fifth hard point time. Now, as we go ahead and we roll this a little bit further, you can see that there's like 10 seconds left or so on the current hardpoint, and Atlanta has about a 30-point lead. But for this, it's not going to matter too much, because if you look at both players, they're set up on the favorable side of the map. So as the hardpoint goes ahead and it rotates over towards fifth, you want to have that back spawn. So not only does Chicago have control of the hill, but they also have control of the spawns, which were back behind the warehouse. Now, as we go ahead and kind of start breaking things down here, you're going to notice that when Scump, when he died, if you were watching the top left, he went ahead and he spawned over towards minecarts. Just like as Scump goes down here, Formal also spawns over by minecarts. And the reason why that's happening is because Atlanta, as they're trying to rotate from the 4th to the 5th hardpoint, they're pushing up through woods. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to flank around back behind that warehouse. So the SMG players are really hitting towards the front of that warehouse, while the AR players, the more long-range players, are hitting back towards the back. So if the people that are in front can get the kills, like SIMP picked up a couple kills in front of the hardpoint, and their ARs like Priesta are pushing back towards the back of the hardpoint, that's how you end up flipping spawns and getting control of this hardpoint. Now, last but not least, as we head back from 5 to 1, remember, as you approach from 1, you want to be on the side, you want to be approaching from the side of the second hardpoint. So as this plays out, what I like to do is every once in a while, I like to go ahead and I want to force a listen in. With this, let's go ahead, let's listen in to the team comms for Chicago here and see what they're talking about as they try to rotate and set up spawns for the second hard point.
Nice, good job, guys. Time. I'm getting force. I'm holding. Try to get time, though. Try to get time.
Yeah, I will.
Another one, pipe's dead.
Sun forest.
He's got heading. Green one shot.
And they got heading.
Go
far left, dead.
Green's not peeking.
Far left again. BZ's left. Green ramp.
Pushing it left up here.
Nice, good job. Keep putting
Green one shot, Simp.
Holding it.
One more
Hit
pipe.
the right.
I hit him 3 times. My bad.
Going deep.
Maniac's
already deep. Yeah, Maniac's already deep.
I'm trusting you guys.
He's still there.
I'm gonna push up left.
I see his name. He's beyond like the pillar.
I killed Celium.
The concrete pillar.
Okay. One's to my left, too. One's to my left, guys.
2-1-0. One's pushing
I like
through
tracks,
tracks.
right?
I'm top hill.
Yeah, he's
on
fork.
tractor. Yeah, he's on tractor.
Fork
I'm
dead.
putting hill.
I'm watching the tracks.
Another one. I didn't hit him. I got 2.
behind you.
I'm watching push.
They spoke to me in native middle, dude. I'm watching tracks. They can be my right.
You can go through bathrooms. You can go through bathrooms right now. Top crates.
You get my right? Okay.
Pushing
Bottom
back.
I'll kill. Nice.
Hit me left.
Yeah,
Yo, one's
I'm
back
going
left
top,
already.
I'm
Priest.
pushing
Back
out.
left, Priest.
Going up top, dead. Oh fuck, dude.
Go back left.
Got
Nice. They're crossing again. Another one here. One's mid crates. Another one over there. Crates.
We need to go right instead of crates.
I'm going right.
One's fork. One's 2-4.
Two fork. TT kid.
Oh my god, what the f is going on?
I'm not new, guys. I'm not new.
That's not crates.
Gonna be pipes.
Yeah, pipes.
Mid
Staring at it.
tracks. Simp. One shot.
Just flashed it.
We're missing Simp.
He pinned sideways.
He's in new, Pierce. He's in new. Maniac.
No way, he does.
No,
mid tracks.
he ran.
There's 3 at old.
I'm just in pipes right now, guys.
Simp got me old. Quick.
What in the?
I'm sitting
Yo.
pipes.
Get your
Fighting
pipe.
is dead.
Good job.
Pipes dead.
So, Maniac was on hill. I don't know if you killed him.
Let's get hill.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Got two.
On hill weak, Maniac.
He went back.
He's on the left heady. On front.
Trying to help you guys front here.
Heady front. I'm throwing Chovy.
Hit it over.
Nice, 2.
One's green.
Heady weak, Maniac.
Every helping hill,
Going hill, sell. Two selling.
Close.
Maniac.
What's that?
Another one there on the.
I'm on bullet.
Good Chovy.
Got me.
Throwing nade.
There's 2.
Ramp.
I need help.
I'm looking ramp pinch.
Back to hill. More boxes.
I'm trying to get vents for pipes. Give it up.
There's smoking. Is that our smoke?
That's mine. Dead boxes.
All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hop back in with you here. So that time there that Scump and Formal just battled over inside the hard point, that was massive time there. So if they didn't get that, they easily could have lost the hill on that one. They easily could have lost the lead as a result of losing that hill there. So that was some really good time. And a lot of times that's what it takes. It's just little plays like that end up being the difference between losing and winning these matches, especially when it comes down to talented pros like these two teams are. Now, as we go ahead, we reset a little bit and we look at the score. Look at the score in the bottom left. We're talking about a 10-point game here after these hard points have already rotated back multiple times on both sides of the map. If we take a second and we talk about actual strategy here and we talk about the time that's building up, Chicago is doing a great job of building up time on this fourth hard point. This is a hard point, like we said last time we went through the first and the fourth hard point. This is probably one that you're not trying to build a bunch of time off of, just because it's kind of right in the middle of the map, and the most important thing for the fourth hard point is getting spawns for the fifth hard point. So for the vast majority of this hard point, Atlanta just went ahead and they kind of gave it up. They're battling for it a little bit now, but I would say of the 60 points that were in that hard point, I would say that Chicago probably got about 40 of them. If we look at the lead, then now the lead is now climbing. It's right at 40 points. By the time this one's over, the lead's going to be right around 45, 50 points. And to me personally, I think if I was a coach for Atlanta, I would point to that specific hardpoint that just ended as the biggest reason why they end up losing this match. So right now, the hardpoint is in that 5th hardpoint. The first hardpoint is going to play through again, and that's probably going to go back and forth a couple times, and this game's going to end up being decided in that back 2nd hardpoint. So right now, they have control of the 5th hardpoint, which is where you want to be, and really, they're building up great time here. So they easily could have, morale could have been low there. They could have gave up this time, but they're still battling and getting control of this hardpoint for this long. Again, this is what happens with two really good teams. Once a really good team gets set up, it's really hard to get them out of it. So right now it's down. The lead, which was once 50 points, is now down to just 5. There are 14 seconds left in this hill, and then the battle is going to go from that 5th hardpoint, which they're going to finish out with that time. So Atlanta is going to have about a 10-point lead as they go ahead and they rotate back to that first hardpoint that's right in the middle of the map. But again, now, if I was Atlanta, what I would do right now is I would send maybe 1 or 2 people to fight over time in that middle hill. The rest of my team would go ahead and they'd be flanking, trying to get spawns for the 2nd hardpoint. So the time here in the middle isn't all that important. Watch Scump in the top left-hand corner. That's the 2nd kill he got up there, and then he ends up getting another one right here. So it's not that they're not trying to hit that left side flank to go ahead and flank around so they can get spawns for the 2nd. It's just that, remember, Scump drops like 40 kills in this game. So right there, those are 3 massively clutch kills. If he doesn't get those kills, then that left side flank is open, and Atlanta could go ahead, they could flip these spawns and be in position to win this game based off having spawns for that 2nd hardpoint. Now, one underrated point here that I want to point out is that right now, Atlanta has 241, so they only need 9 seconds left. So essentially, as that was counting down there from like 20 to 15 to 10, Atlanta could have won off that middle hardpoint. So Chicago did a really nice job of battling that, because if they just give it up, then they're going to end up losing. So they did a really nice job of getting some kills there, and now that we're coming down to the clutch here, basically Chicago spawning on the right side of the hardpoint, Atlanta spawning on the left side of the hardpoint, and this is just a mad dash to try to get in and secure kills. So Formal just got one there. He ends up reloading and getting caught in his reload, but Envoy goes ahead and he trades that out. And after a couple more clutch kills, this is going to be all she wrote. So a battle of 2 Titans there, Chicago and Atlanta. That's a heck of a game. My guess going into the CDL is that there's going to be quite a few battles between these 2 teams. So as we wrap this up, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. I've been putting a lot of time and effort into these videos. My channel's been growing like crazy, and I appreciate all the support. So if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't leave without leaving a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.